Hello, I'm Tamara Pribišev Beleslin, Associative Professor, and my colleague is Sanja Partalo, Assistant Professor. We come from University of Banja Luka, Faculty of Philosophy in Bosnia and Herzegovina. We work on study program for preschool education, and our theme for this presentation is children's words about friendship before and during the pandemic. As we know, during 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic was declared, which caused sudden changes in the daily lives of children all over the world. That means interruption of attending the kindergartens, wearing masks, insisting on epidemic measures, social distancing, emphasized media images of disease, and so on. Starting from the assumption that the mutual interactions between and within wider and narrower social context can directly affect the child's microsystem, experiences and understanding of the world, children's voices are considered as a reflection of the friendship in changed social contexts. Children's life until the pandemic and light with the normalization to pandemic conditions. Our intention was to investigate the changes in children's determinations of friendship, especially the words they use in definitions of friendship. First, we put a theoretical framework, and we wanted to emphasize that relationship presents the most important type of relationship with peers. It is basically a dyad relationship characterized by reciprocity, mutual trust and closeness, but it can be also achieved within a triad or a larger group. Children's friendships are mostly organized as egalitarian relations because the children are more or less equal in those relationships. The relationships are based on equal power also and have a vertical structure, and also the relationships in friendship are built within a culture that relies on play and fellowship. The friendship also develops from the altruistic need and affection for another person, provides emotional security and develops social competence of child. As a stimulus to social and emotional development, it is also defined as a core dimension for a child well-being. Also, friendship strengthens self-confidence and provides a feeling of satisfaction and happiness. A few issues we put as important for our study, few theoretical approaches to development of friendship. And we know that many theoretical approaches are present in theory and in psychology and pedagogy. But as the initial basis for our research, we use Bronfenbrenner's bioecological theory of human development, which emphasized the necessity of understanding the child's development in relation to his or her immediate environment. Bioecological theory accepts the importance of the child's subjective experience of the world, so the phenomenological approach to understanding of a development of children's friendship can be fully included. The nature of the child is determined by biological determinants, for example, personal characteristics, proximal processes in the microsystem, environmental, societal, political, cultural influences on the system at different levels, and Bronfenbrenner's call them micro, meso, exo, and macro system, as well as the time dimension, that's called chronosystem. We found that proximal processes are crucial for developing the children's relationships. Proximal processes, by which Bronfenbrenner in his later works expanded the theory and gives them a central position, especially emphasize the importance of the child involvement in huge range of activities. These activities must be regular and longer in time, as well as in space, for example, in kindergarten, in outdoor places, and so. Proximal processes are based on relations that are not only interpersonal, but also include objects and symbols, which can be very useful for understanding changed meaning of friendship in this period during the pandemic. We work and we made a small-scale study, which has the aim to describe and compare children's words about friendship in two social contexts that have changed dramatically and suddenly. In a qualitative study, a research question was asked based on the aim. Are there any differences in how children perceive the concept of friendship before and during the pandemic? Participants comprised 95 to 6 years old children who attended kindergarten for more than 1 year. Structured interviews occurred within two subsamples. 60 interviews with children made before COVID-19 and 30 interviews during the pandemic. Interviews with children before the pandemic were part of a broader research within the doctoral dissertation, which was conducted by my colleague Sanja Partalo. An inductive analysis with open coding without previously defined categories and spread-list relational theory of meaning were chosen to help analyze the data. We were looking for semantic relationships between those categories and children's meaning, as well as used words and phrases. And here are the results. In children definitions, before and during the pandemic, friendship is related to four categories equally. The dominant category is action, then comes category behavior, then emotional state, and opposition to quarrel. When we analyze the category of action, we realize that children used words for action as playing, physical activities, and mutual activities. For example, children talk about define their friendship with words of playing with different toys, such as Lego, ponies, dolls, or they said that friendship is when you are playing as hide and seek or in sand or play outdoor, or you are playing outdoor. When it comes to physical activities, children mention running, riding, walking, dancing, eating, doing sports. These words are common in their responses. For mutual activities, they mentioned friends are watching TV, friends are kissing, and we can see that this action category is based on concrete reciprocities, which invented by Hartrup Hartop in his theory. The second category is behavior, and we noticed that children mostly use words such as helping to friends in kindergarten mostly, or sharing toys, food, candies. For example, friends share candies, or they talk about and define friendship as when friends get along with each other, or when they are listening to each other, and so. The dominant adverbial clause is nice here in this category, and in one response we noticed the words not to be rude. Friends, don't be rude with each other. The third category, which is smaller than this one and not so frequent as action and behavior in children's responses, is emotional state, when children describe love with sentences like friendship is when we love each other, or when we are kind, or if you have a friend. And a small category is opposition to quarrel. And the words which children use here is friends don't fight, or that is not to be swearish. But in our study, we wanted to put emphasis on differences before and during, differences in their responses and meanings and understandings of friendship before pandemic and after and during pandemic. So when we ask children before a question how friends behave to each other, there were a lot of, mainly children said that they behave nice, fine, good, and that was very simple sentence. They used simple sentences. For example, friends are behave nicely to each other. But when it comes to their responses and their words, which were used during the pandemic, children mainly a huge part of children's responses based on measures which are today very common. And for example, when we ask them what how friends behave to each other, they said in mostly answers, friends are wearing the masks, we washed our hands more frequent, we don't hug and kiss, we walk slowly and move away from other children, and we take care for each other. These two first sentences are the most dominant, and about half children in this sample says that they wear a mask when they are playing or they are with their friends. But in smaller group of children's responses, they use the word, it is the same, we are behaving on the same way, as we know in previous time. But also there was a smaller number of children responses, which focused on children play. And for example, one child said that we play as if in playing context, we were wearing masks, and we drew drawings to pass the corona. So the corona and wearing masks and these pandemic measurement, are the content of their play situations. When it comes to interpretation, we realize that in the responses of children during the pandemic, the words describing the physical distance, for example, wearing the mask, or washing that pandemic measurements as washing the hands, in the behavior of friends are more frequent. More, children subtly incorporate influences of the external system into their world views, and thus shape behavior and social interaction at this age. The child can be seen as someone who interacts with the environment, so that interaction is always mutual and two-way. Children expect from their friends to behave consistently, so friendships are built through similarities in behavior patterns. They are connected through participation in a common play activities, initiatives, empathy, and through imitation, which is a determinant of peer culture. So when we made interpretation, we put into we used also a theory of peer culture. So in relationship with peers, but also with broader social contexts, children create their own subcultures within the culture in which they grow up. In this sense, the friendship of preschool children are spaces where children, supported with the proximal processes, can practice similarly behave, explore, create, live their perspectives, but also friends are a good source for information, friendship as a mutual cooperative socialization. Also, we find that research shows that there is some influence of cultural and societal context of children understanding of friendship and behaving with peers that can represent a form of effective participation of children in culture. We can expect that the continuation of normalization to pandemic measures has potentials to cause the development of similar behavioral patterns among friends in early childhood. As a specific system, kindergarten is a place in which children shape their social experiences and culture with peers by and through continuous sustained interactions. This environment in mutual relations with other systems, for example, cultural, political, economical, and societal, so can influence, provoke, and strengthen children's friendships, similar patterns in behavior, perception, but also the attitudes toward the world children live in. Therefore, as an environmentally healthy spaces for young children, kindergartens should encourage the development of friendship through providing quality interactions for a particular child as an active participant. So, on the end of our study, we made messages for children, their parents, and practitioners. Message for children would be, Your friends in kindergarten also have their thoughts about how to play and behave with others during this pandemic. We all learn from each other, and we can play a pandemic. Also, messages for family could be: your child needs a permanent group of peers in which she or he develops and maintains social relations that are the basic for the development of friendship between children, regardless of the pandemic conditions that are currently challenging the social closeness among the children. Their imminent need is to be with other children, to play, to communicate, and practice social relations. And message for practitioners would be: you should be aware that the contents and ways of interactions in kindergarten as a system are subject to influences from meso, exo, and macro system, but also chronosystem, especially from the family and media during the pandemic, and is directed to children's understanding and making friendship with peers. So that was all from my colleague Sanja and me. Thank you for your attention. And I would like to mention that children drawings were made in action research within the huge scientific research for doctoral thesis, which my colleague Sanja Partalo was successfully defended. My colleague Sanja defended in 2017 before this pandemic. So I would like to thank you for your attention, and that's it. Bye bye.